Hey, it's Ian again from Las Vegas Scooters and Lifts. Today I'm working on my Traveller project. On the lift today we've got one of our rentals that's having a little accident cracked shroud, so I've glued that up, see if that will hold. They ran it into a wall. You can see the white paint marks there and all the rubber missing that they took chunks out of it. This one went to the win. She'd never used a scooter before, clearly. She damaged the shroud. We haven't charged her for it because it was slightly damaged before anyway, so I've just glued it up. It's not worth replacing a shroud on there. They're very expensive to replace. It's only when they get super banged up and broken that we'll replace them. I'll try and fix as best I can. But that's that one. I'll be coming off the lift in a second so I can get to that little bad boy on my little project scooter. First of all, I'm going to do mine. I've got my new rear wheels, new front wheels. This ain't one of those when there should have been two, so I have actually got a spare so I don't have to wait for it. That way I can get this put back together, put on the showroom floor, sell it. And yeah, I've got to put batteries in it as well. So yeah, it's got everything. It's in pretty good condition now. Stripped it down, cleaned it, serviced it, made sure everything's tight. I just didn't want the wheels. I don't want bowl tyres like the do's and turd. I want nice wheels and tyres. So these are still got a bit of tread on them. I can maybe use them on something else if I feel the need to, but yeah, I'm gonna probably change this as well. This arm pad. Depends. I'll ask Jenny if she wants to change it. I've got some arm pads in the order that I received. Put 2 arm pads, a load of baskets, the clamps. Like I said, the two sets of tyres. So I'll get this lifted up and change the wheels on, and also the anti-tip wheels. Okay, all done. They look a lot better. Makes the scooter look better. Makes it more sellable. So, they're on. And tip wheels on. Okay, so it's working on the front section of the project Traveller now, because the back end and the battery box is all clean. That's down there ready. So, like I said in the first video, I've got to address this, got to address this, and I've got to address that. Got the basket there for that, can go there so I don't lose it. So yeah, this is the 2012 Elite Traveller, so I'll replace that janky old seat pin. I've got loads of those. Oh, it came out alright. So yeah, as you can see, that's where it's been in the position where it's been worn away. All the rest of them are okay, so I may just clean that up and turn it around the other way, like they already had done. But yeah, this is a concern. Like I said in the first video, these splayed out battery connections, So I'll strip it all down and have a look at changing this out, because I don't want it to cause any problems. Take the front wheel off and clean that and check it all over, so stay tuned. Okay, so I've put the back section on to the front section, and as you can see, without the shroud on, put the wheels on just so it's nice and level. As you can see, you've got access to these 4 screws there, so you can adjust this connector block. As you can see, it's not seating correctly. So from this other side, grab the connector block and lift up, and it should click together perfectly. And then once it's set like that, you can then tighten up with 4mm Allen. Just quickly tighten at least 1 or 2 of these Allen screws, and then just tighten, at least tighten 1 or 2 up if you can get to them. I'll just tighten the top 2 up. There we go. So at least you can get in to tighten those, and then you can release it, stand it up, and then you can go around and tighten these up, nip them up. Then you know that's located in the correct position. You're not going to break any pins, and it goes together how it should do. So that's how you. So if you find your scooter's a little bit difficult to put together, it maybe this has got out of a line and may need realigning. But yeah, that's how you do that. Okay, so I've gone a bit further with this strip down of the front section of this scooter. I've taken the tiller off, taken the front shroud off, just so I can get in to clean it a little bit better, because it is a bit crusty. But for the sake of 2 cable ties, you can take the front tiller off. You don't need to undo any of this. That's only if you need to replace the bearings on there and there. But just to take the tiller off, you just need to unplug the main harness from front to rear, and then take your adjustment handle off, which is here. Just unscrew that, then you have a washer after that, and then the spring goes on the inner part that stays on the scooter. So the spring goes there, then it's your tiller part goes in between there, and then the washer and the lock knob goes in after that. So just in case you need to put that back together. I've also taken that off. That's the steering lock mechanism. It's on the front of most of the scooters. Just a 3mm Allen. Just be careful of the spring there, and that's the Allen bolt. And when you put it back in, you have to depress it and then put your Allen bolt back in to do that. So front wheel, there are the screws off of the front shroud. It just holds that front shroud on. There's four bolts, one there, one there, one there, and one there. Easy enough. And also 4 screws that hold on the quick release mechanism handle, which is this, which you can see is all dusty, crusty, and fluffy. And yep, so you're going to need wire cutters just to cut the cable ties, a 13mm socket and spanner, as we call it in the UK, or wrench, to take your front wheel off. And this is all hand, a 3mm Allen wrench to take that off. So that pretty much you can take off your every shroud and strip down the front section. I'll just check in your bearings. So if you get any front and back play, you know, any side to side play in these bearings, then definitely tighten these up. You'll have to undo these two locking collars here, as you can see. Get it so it's not too loose but not too tight that you can't steer. Lock off the bottom one there, and then back it off that way to lock into the top, so you kind of have to go that way and then that way on that one, just to lock those. A bit like when you had your bike, your cycle when you were a kid, just to lock that in place. This screws in, that screws in, and that screws in, and that just locks that into place. Should be no play in there. If there is play in there, probably going to damage these bearings. If you get too much play in that, it'll destroy the bearings. I've done plenty of those on scooters where I've replaced the bearings on those. But yeah, save yourself a job. Just make sure that's nice and tight, and that way now I can get to replace this piece here. So unfortunately it's a matter of taking this bolt and this bolt off to release this cover, so I can then take off this, which is wired into your controller box there. This is an R drive controller. You can tell that because it has this aluminum box top. So under there will be the black controller, which I'll show you that, and that's how you can get to unplug this. I may replace the whole thing, I don't know. It's going to be probably easier just to replace that. I've got some spares up there that I think there's one hanging out of a box just there. See how good that is. No, that one's shot as well. Yep, that one's rubbered. So I've got some more in there, so I can replace that because I don't want any problems with that. And just checking the back, they're all nice and tidy. Nothing problem there. The wiring's all good, still in place, tied in there, tied in there. I said that before, that's your programming port. That doesn't need to be sticking out there. I don't know why Pride do that. It's not needed. All it does is cause problems. It gets caught when you go over steps and thresholds and things like that. It gets pulled and it can kill the scooter if these wires touch. That's why they capped it off. It's just a cap and a socket, you can see, and that's where they plug the programmer in. But they don't send us one of those, we can't buy them, so I can't do anything with that. So just took it away, nice and safe and sound. So I'll get and clean it all up now and replace that connector block. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've got my a new connector there. This is the old one. So you undo this screw and nut, and that bolt, sorry, and nut there. Just to see a 7mm socket. Oh, and a posi or crosshead screwdriver, and that comes out. This is also a 7mm. Like I said, Pride do use a lot of 7mm stuff in their smaller nuts, but yeah, take that cover off, and that exposes all your wiring. And then all you need to do is remove those. Just pull those off. Just be careful that you don't pull the those like spay connectors there. They're only kind of pushed in. Just make sure they come off and they stay in place. These red things just come off, so it looks like that. And then you can reconnect those onto your new part, and then you'll have your, this is that programming port with the inhibit wire there, which goes to the center pin of that, which tells the computer to shut off the scooter if its charger is still plugged in. And then on the controller itself, you've got the battery connector there, plus and minus, red and black, easy to, and the other one's the motor connector. So you need to undo those two, feed them out of there along with the programming port. May not need to do that on this one because that is a separate wire. So this one's off a different scooter, so what I'm going to have to do is transfer or cut that off and put a connector on there so it matches this wiring. That's the only difference. This is off a probably an Ultra X, which is wired differently to the Traveller. This series of Traveller, that's a 9-pin port to correspond with the 9-pin on the tiller, and this came off a different scooter, but the connectors are all the same apart from that blue inhibit wire. So I've just got to put a different connector on there. Okay, so carry on. Okay, change of plan. I found a different connector with the right wiring on it, with that connector on it, so I don't need to make one up. This one's in good condition, so it's just a matter of transferring. I've already unplugged that, so I don't need to chop into this and change it. I can leave that for another day, for another scooter. One or two of them in there. So yeah, I can just transplant the new one onto the old one and save myself some work. Oh, that's good. Carry on. Okay, that's all back together now with a new connector block. Really easy to do. Just tucking the wires back in, so it's all ready to go back together now. Just got to finish cleaning tiller. Front section's in the sink soaking. I've got front wheel still to do, but at least that's done. There's the old part, so that'll go back in the box for spare parts if I need the old plastic and not the connector. There's parts I can use off of it. But yep, clean the frame. That's already cleaned as well. It's a lot better. Put some grease on that. Make sure it's all tight and lubricated. Now I can work on this. Alright, here we go. Alrighty. So I'm currently working on the top console tiller. I noticed something sticking out the side of here. And somebody put a nice piece of cardboard in there. It was just sticking out like that. I tried picking it out with my pick, but yeah, so somebody had been in there and done whatever that was for. Not sure. But anyway, yeah, took the throttle handle off, cleaned that up. Took the top of the console off to fish that out, and I can also clean all this gump off of here. Don't want any food residue in there. I mean, it doesn't look good. Yep. So your top console's held on by 4 screws. Underneath there's 6 in total. I don't know if you can see that. Just a second. So most, if not all, top consoles held on. 1 screw there, 1 screw there, 1 at the forward position, 1 at the forward position there. You don't need to undo these 2 that are attached to the handlebars. That keeps the bottom part of the console from slipping down. As you can see, there's a bit more of that cardboard sticking out there. That's the reason I took that off, but it's just 4 screws that hold the top on. That way you can service whatever you need to. You don't need to undo these unless you're replacing this. And like I said earlier on another video, 2 screws there that hold the throttle on. You don't need to remove that to get the throttle out, but it makes it easier. So I never do. I just fish the wire around and pull it out. So save you undoing 2 screws there. So yeah, anyway, get on to doing some more cleaning, because I'm sure you'd like to see that. Hear me waffling on and using a rag. Very interesting, very educational. Yeah, just giving it a clean up. Getting all the sticky marks off of it. Make life easier. That's your main harness wire, and that releases that top console. So that's not in my way now. As you can see there, you've got a fuse just there. If you can see it, make sure you've got it in shot. Just there. A fuse for your top console charge port, which is there. It's hard to do. There we go, charge port. In case you don't know what one of those looks like. Most scooters, I think it's on the golden scooters, they have the fuse for the charge port actually inside of the top console. So you have to strip that all down to check your fuse. Just take the top off, take the shroud off, take the top off, and then you can check. I think it's one of those glass long fuses that they use in that, like what you see in a car, you know, when you put an accessory in the car. There's like a glass fuse and a plastic holder. I think they're black. I'm sure I've got one here I could show you, but I'm sure you've seen a fuse before. But that's where to look for that. If you have a charge port that's failed on your scooter, check your fuse. There is a little bit damage on this front harness. There's a little cut in the cable there, but I don't think it's gone through to the wires underneath. So, but like I said, I did test the scooter. I haven't put the back end on it yet, so hopefully that won't be a problem. But if it is, I'll just replace that cable. It's the easiest job. Just thread it. You have to take these rubber bungs off. Then you do have to drop this part of the top console down to get to the wires, because they're at the, it feeds through just there, and you have to feed all those through. Kind of pain in the butt a little bit, but I've done plenty of them to know what to do. That's how you remove your console wire, because it has that plug at that end. Obviously you can't pull it that way, you have to go that way. Common sense. Nothing to learn there. Just giving it a clean up so it doesn't look dingy. There's a couple of marks on there. I'm not sure what's happened there. It's somebody wailing on it with a hammer of some sort, I don't know. But I'll soon put some black marker pen on there just to hide it, but make it look better. Just blend it in a little bit. Doesn't take your eye to it. Just yeah, just make it look a little bit better. And a bit on there, a bit of, just helps. I just hope it doesn't start rusting. One thing, I got a customer in with a feather scooter, one of our first ones that they bought, and they'd worn all these teeth away. They've only had it a couple of months, and they haven't tightened this up correctly. You know, your tiller lock, make sure that these teeth are interconnected correctly when you put this tiller up and down. Make sure the teeth are locked together. If they're not, they'll sit on top of each other and then they'll keep slipping, and eventually they'll wear that away. Especially the drive, feather, and some of the goldens. They're not as good as the Pride. The Pride's made out of solid cast metal, steel, iron, whatever, and they seem to hold up, but they do wear over time, and then you have to replace the whole knuckle end. And yeah, just make sure that the teeth are locked together and then tighten it up. Give it a little shake forward and back, and that'll lock up. As you can see, the other side's on the scooter just here, if you can see that. This is what I'm talking about. Those teeth there, if they're not locked together with the teeth on there, then they're going to get worn and cause you problems. But yeah, the front section's all done. Just got to put some grease on that end, clean that up as best as I'm going to get it. It's a bit worn. Like I say, I probably won't get as much for this one because of its the way it's been treated, but yeah, I've cleaned most of that. I'll straighten the back bracket up when it's on the scooter. I normally just twist them round. I don't want to undo it. But remove that bit of cardboard that was in there. Just give that a dust. And I've still got this bit of gump on here to clean off. You don't want that showing when your new owner wants to look around it. But yeah, just a bit more cleaning to do. Really exciting. But you don't learn unless you see every aspect, I guess. Can't please everybody. We had a guy coming yesterday, another lift accident. Somebody in a truck reversed into his lift, bent the platform, creased the platform. I recommended just replace it. It's not worth replacing just the platform because you don't know what other internal damage has happened to the lift. It's never going to be working the same, especially with the auger screw that runs down the mast itself. It could fail on you at any point. It happened to me on mine. I bought a lift from our sales rep, and it lasted about a week before the auger gave way on it. And that's a pain in the butt because you need a special tool to take that out. This I actually bought from Pride when they were doing lifts, but this is the auger tool that you can release the auger out of the mast. And this cost me $60 just for this tool. But I keep it. It was theirs. They said either keep it or send it back, but I kept it. I paid $60 for it, and that goes on top of the auger so you can release it and tighten it. It has like a square block there that you put it over and lock it in place. But yeah, when they go, they're expensive and not worth replacing, to be honest. Once the augers go, the mast goes. It's night for the. It's a bit like with a scooter. If you replace the transaxle, motor and brake on it, it gets a bit expensive. So it's kind of not worth replacing that for a scooter. It's the same for a lift. If the mast goes, then because if the motor goes on those as well, I don't think you can just replace the motor. You have to replace the whole auger and the motor because it's all joined together, and they probably won't. The one I did, they gave me a new motor and a new auger in it, so I replaced the whole thing. It took me about 4 hours to do. It's not a good job. Very greasy, messy, and time consuming. And I'm just gonna undo. There's 2 screws that hold your LED voltmeter in place. You don't need to take these completely out, just unscrew them a bit. Just back them off a little bit so you can release that if it's stuck in a little bit. Mr. Postman's here. Yeah, so that way you're not fiddling around trying to get those screws back in unless you've got a magnetic screwdriver. But yeah. Let's just give it a clean up. And then it's got a little zip tie on it just to keep the wires back, just there next to the horn. And it plugs in with that big connector there that says Voltmeter on it. So kind of easy. But I'm just taking that out just to clean it. They're not 100% watertight, like anything really. It just needs a little bit of spray cleaner on it just to freshen it up a bit. I've got hundreds, I mean hundreds of these things that are broken. Absolute terrible design. They last forever or they last 5 minutes. I'm not sure what it is. I even took one apart to see if it was the capacitor in there, but it's not, because the lights go out. The blue light will stay on, but all these lights will either go out or they'll go completely on. They don't scroll up, and that tells you that your voltmeter's broken. If no lights are on and you know it's fully charged, then you know your voltmeter's at fault. And then you pick these up, get these on some online places, and you can replace it yourself instead of going to a dealer and paying their labour charges. It's just a matter of 2 little screws, a plug and a zip tie, and it's easy enough to put back in. Just make sure the big block's at the bottom, just tuck it under, pop it in and tighten your screws up. Easy. And now they've replaced it with the ambient one, the one that when it's darker outside, the voltmeter will lower down in its brightness so it doesn't blind you, because these were really bright and people complained about it, so we passed that on to Pride and said, look, when you're driving these scooters at night you can't see beyond the tiller because of the bright lights of the voltmeter. So now they've adapted it so it has a little sensor, and that portion just there, it dims down at night and gets brighter during the day, so you can see where your voltmeter is. Especially good here in Vegas because the sun's blaring all day long. And yeah, but I've had a couple of them fail on me already, the new versions. I think it was just a bad batch. I had a couple where the voltmeter wasn't calibrated correctly, and it was you go out and I've seen the video. You go out a couple of minutes and 2 lights are gone on it. And, well, that shouldn't be working like that. But yeah, I know they've gone and done a second revision of that already. But yeah, I'm not looking for perfection on this. I'm just doing it so I can sell it. Plug the main connector back in, put that back on, and like I said, 4 screws, I find a screwdriver, just standard Phillips or crosshead screwdriver, whatever you want to call it. I do know there's a difference between a Phillips and a star screwdriver, as we call it. Come on. Once you've got the screw started, I will tighten up those other ones as well. There it goes. Kind of goes in at a kind of angle, so you can get the screw in. They've kind of positioned it at an angle. So don't try and do it straight up, it's not, it's like an angle. Make sure that's nice and tight. I think that's stripped. Yeah, it's just caught there. And 2 underneath the throttle at the back of the console. Put those in there, that one's okay. And there's your other one. I want to do a poll. Who wants to see me screwing in screws and using cleaning fluid, or who'd rather see that time lapse? I don't know what it is with that word, I just can't get it right in my head, but who'd rather time lapse through all this garbage, or who would rather see me screwing in a screw? Okay, once they're in, just make sure these are tight. That stops your console from rattling. And then just pop your throttle back on, throttle handle. For to be honest, for an extra bit of precaution, because these do back off, especially if you're using your scooter on pavements or rough terrain, even though you're not meant to. Just put a little bit of Loctite on there, just stop them backing off, because if one backs off, then you're going to have problems. I've had customers come in before where one screw come out and they're trying to go forward. It's usually this left one here, this one that backs off, and pushing forward on one side and this end's lifting up. Of course you're not going to get full speed out of it because you're missing a screw, and they never check, they never look, they just come in and it's not going as fast as it should, and it's usually they've lost a screw. Unless it was like that 1 year old one that came in the other week, which I posted that video up. They destroyed the throttle. The guy had literally thrown it in and out of the car. And when he picked it up, he was a little bit miffed. And he literally launched the seat on the floor and threw the scooter in the back of the car. I mean, not literally put it in, he threw it in. There's something wrong with it, and yeah, I told him it's misuse. Pride won't cover that under warranty, I'm afraid. Especially if I see it, I'm not going to lie to Pride and risk my capabilities of selling scooters, my livelihood. I'm not going to lie to them. Okay. Soon if I've got any handles. I don't want to put new ones in it because this is not going to look like a new scooter, to be honest. So that's a bit loose, and I'm guessing the reason that these two different sizes. No. Okay, so there's something in there. Put big light on, as they say in Lincolnshire. Yep, somebody's crammed something in there. Oh, the fun things we get to see. Electrical tape for a guess. Sorry if I'm rocking you. Yeah, leave me a comment if you want to see more of this where I'm just plodding along. No annoying loud music and time lapse. God, they've really chunked it in there. What have I got? What have I got to pick it out with? That'll do. My battery picker. There it goes. Yep, electrical tape. Lovely. Nice. I'll just check I've got it all out. Yep. Yeah, these over time they wear, and people think do what we did with our old push bikes, our old cycles, whatever you call them over here. We call them push bikes, pedal bikes, bicycles. There you go. Like we did as kids. Your handlebar grips got loose. You just wrap tape around it and stop it from coming off. Right. If you don't want them coming off, put super glue in it. And if you need to get it off, cut it off. I think this one's beyond decked. So I'm going to put this one on this side with the super glue on it. And this one will go back in there. This is no good. That one's no good. That one's no good. Let's try that one. that's a bit better. Once I've got some super glue on that, that'll hold pretty well. I mean, you could put tape on it, but yeah, somebody's put something in this one as well. That's why it's tight towards the end. But super glue will grip it. Like I say, I'm not looking for anywhere near perfection on this one. It's a bit too worn to be of any value, decent value anyway. Let's throw that in the trash. Still got the battery box to put batteries in. The rear section's all done. This can, yeah, that's binding. Okay, that one's pretty good. There you go. That stops them from moving. And like I say, if you need to get them off, cut them off. You maybe have to break them off with a pair of channel locks or adjustable spanners, as we say in the UK. Yeah, for those UK viewers, they call these channel locks because they have a channel in it. And like I say, you could probably break off the glue by, sorry for the sound effects, channel locks. Adjustable spanner. Pipe wrench is another one they use, and that's a mold grip, I think. No, that's these things. We call them mold grips. I don't know what the Americans call them. You have to put your head in a different country and figuring these things out. When you've had 54 years of saying it one way, and you have to revert to some other way. Yeah, I'll leave that off there. So that's done as much as I want to do with it. Floor shroud. Oh God. Now I am going to have to go out and get some more degreaser. So I'll come back to that when I get my degreaser. God, John, harvesting parts off of me. Have I got? He's got an RV. It's a camper van, as I say in the UK. He's got an RV that the generator's gone tits up on it. So he's having to replace fuel filter, fuel pump, and the carburetor on it, and it still won't run. So he's trying to harvest parts from me. I need this, I need that. He's just been in and stolen another wrench, spanner off of me to take off something. He's a contractor, you think he'd have all these tools. I don't mind. He's a good guy. Yeah, let's pop those out. Oh, damn it. I think he's probably got all the tools, he just doesn't know where he puts them. So, there we go. That one's okay, I'll get rid of that. Rusty dusty. Yeah, this will need a good soaking cleaner. So, yeah, I'll go out and get some of that. I'm just cleaning this from way along. I didn't go out and get any degreaser. I'm a little bit busy. And you say you couldn't believe how much wheels were. That's why I get so excited when I see good wheels on used scooters. It means I haven't got to buy them. That was tasty. God damn it. I've had worse in my face. Anyway. I just like to use a degreaser. It gets all this crud off a lot easier. You get the idea. Like I said, this scooter's not going to be tip top. Just a little project I keep working on. It's been nearly a week since I touched it last. I've been doing other things. People coming in, batteries. I've got this coming Wednesday. I've got one of our really old customers, Pat. When I was working with another guy, when I first got here, he had the scooter business. We met him at a storage auction when we first got here. We didn't know what we was going to do when we got here, so we decided, we'll go and do that storage wars thing, see how it is. Got into that and met the guy there. And long story short, or long story long, because I like talking, but no, long story short, we ended up parting ways. I was he didn't want business partners, he wanted workers. He wanted to take all the glory and he used me and Jenny as workers, and I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. So we parted ways. And then some other stuff happened, so we ended up opening up our own scooter business, and we're still here. He isn't. So that looks a bit better. Is there any marks I need to cover up? Yeah. Hello, Mrs. Jenny. What's up? Yeah, I've been talking to myself. Jenny was on about going to the Win again. See a show. They've got a new show coming on at the minute. Looks really good actually. A bit like Avatar sort of thing. Looks good, but I've got short attention span when it comes to those things. I get a little bored sometimes. The last time I went to the cinema I fell asleep. Yeah, you know. It might be good. And, last time we was at the Win, we had their buffet. Really good. But that's front wheel up. I'll do these while I'm at it. Put the release handle and the steering lock knob. Clean it up, grimy. Sometimes if these peel off or they're in unreadable condition, I'll reprint them and put them on, but these aren't too bad. You can still get the gist of. Please read the manual. Watch your fingers, they get trapped. And don't ride your scooter in the back of the vehicle. You'll be surprised. But anyway, I'm hoping most people aren't that silly. Oh, I left my microphone unplugged. Bear with me a second, I'll go quiet. Okay. Hear me now? You didn't miss much if you didn't hear anything. Just me clattering around. in there. Yeah, Jenny bought me a new cleaning brush. I've lost it already. I don't know what the hell I've done with it. It'll be on here somewhere, around here somewhere. No, no. Excuse me. Yeah, that's that done. That's that done. And a magic cloth on it. Make it look pretty. Yeah, better. I'll stick that back over there so I don't forget. There's my tiller. What was I messing around with the battery box for? I was testing something. I can't remember now. I just put that tester box on there for some reason. I was testing something, but I know that works, so may have been that. Ooh, that's okay. Alright. Still got a floor shroud to do. I do want to get some degreaser to do that because it's actually covered in rubbish. Pull that from there. That's the last of that. Give it a little brush. There you go. So you can. Oh, no, that's squishing my glasses. There you go, so you can see me scrub it, because that's really interesting, educational, watching the back of my head. As long as I get most of the big stuff off, I'll do the rest with a cloth. Get a bit of a dousing, get the dust off of it. The line will get that off. See how we did. Put my glasses over there so I don't break them. Too expensive. And when you get blind and old. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not too bad. Got most of the big stuff off. Like I said, not going to be 100%. I'm not going to replace it. There's nothing broken on it, so only with reconditioning I only replace it if it's broken. It's people leave these things outside and they just get gummed up, dust and dirt off the feet. They get it in the battery cavity, but brought to test me. Bit of ingrained stuff here. Like I said, the airline will blow that out. You're going to enjoy hearing that go off. So these mats do come off if you want to go that deep into it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's pretty gummed up. I'll take them out. Like I said, there's these grommets underneath you just push through. But they're a pain in the dick to get back in. I usually put water on them to help them go through the hole. And the water will dry up. If you put something like WD-40 on it, it'll get a bit greasy. Water does the trick. That's the heavy stuff. Alright, you're going to get deafened now. Find my blower. There we go. Noisy. I'll wake up on a Saturday morning. Thank God for time lapse, eh? So just wiping off the dust on the underside. Off the table. A few chunks in there, stones mainly. But that's better. You get the idea. Makes it a bit more presentable. Just do this one while I've got it off, make it easier on myself. still waiting on my panels. Drew's got a lot of work on it at the minute. He's just finished one project. He's still got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 9 projects still on that he's got to get finished. One of them's mine, but I'm in no rush. I told him that I ain't going nowhere. I've waited long enough for this thing. Being a custom guitar, it's custom. You've never done it before. Set that back on. Rear wheels. I was watching the video when I'm editing all this. I put the wheels down there, but they're on the car already. Yeah, they're clean. Can't remember if I've already done them. Okay, so all I've got to do is reassemble it, I think. Yeah. I'll put some grease in there. I just use standard grease. It's multi-duty complex grease. As long as it's greased, it greases this up, so it makes life easier for whoever's using it. It doesn't get gummed up. So always put a bit over the connectors. That's jobbed. So I can put that handle back on. Got the batteries ready there. Starter. For Drew, start his girlfriend's car. That can go in the trash. Don't know what I'm going to do with that one. Seat post. Okay, need a Conley seat pen. Seat post. Usually just a bit of muck on these. Rust where they rattle it a little bit because they're held on with a pen. Yeah, I'm not going to replace that. I'm just going to turn it around so it locks properly. There's only one portion that's bad on it. That's a bit better. There you go. I've got a new seat pen. Right. Them out of the way. Move you over this end. Whee. There you go. Right, so we've got, make sure I've got all those for the front wheel. There should be, yeah, there was one missing screw out of the, sorry, going for a roll. There's a missing screw from underneath. Yep. Washer and a split washer. There we go. That'll just stop that from falling out. There's one. Keep that there, keep that there. 2. 3. And 4. screws for that are we're on here. There. 2, 4. That's for the front section. For this, the longer box. Oh, you're looking at the floor. There you go. There you go. 4 long ones for the front section. 4 shorties for the rear. Just getting organised. And then 4 for that, which I use these for because that one's crusty. Get my screwdriver. Like I said earlier, when you were taking this off, I'll put it on there. Hopefully you can see it. Let me just check you can see the pertinent information. Okay. So, let's take that off. When you're reassembling your front section, if you've taken this off. So your first thing is to thread that through there. Your main harness. I advise put your rubber gasket in as well, so you're not having to faff around with that. Oh, come on, like I'm faffing around with that. Yeah, don't they make it look like a dick? Okay. Okay, so you've got that and that. Put that over there, then you can put this back together. So your bolt goes in first, there, then your spring, and your spring goes into that little receptacle part there, and then make sure you get it right way around. Thread your top console tiller on, then your little plastic washer, and then the handle. That's the quite correct way to do that. Leave it upright so you've got enough cable coming through, and you can feed that through. I'm going to stand it up because I've got a zip tie to there with my ever breaking zip ties. See how many I break today. Why don't you just stack it in front, everything in front of your toolbox here, so you trip over. But anyway, okay. Yep. Make sure you got enough cable. Connect your connector block. Get it right way around. So your connector block's in. Tuck all your wires in. Make sure that's all tucked in. Just put a zip tie on there just to get it started. That won't work. And this just holds the wire back so it doesn't get caught on the tyre or anything. Just in case it gets pulled. I have seen it where they've cut the wire. It was a rental company actually here in Vegas that brought me one of their scooters and it doesn't work. There he goes. That one doesn't work. 50% so far. That one works. Okay. Make sure the wires are all tucked away. Come on. I was looking online yesterday for a programmer for one of these, for the S drives. I'm not sure if the R drives will work on it, but most scooters now are S drives. There are some R drives still out there. There's still sometimes use them. But I was looking for a programmer. They look like this. Look like that. But they're PG drives for S drives. I was looking for one of those just to see, to do another video. Very expensive they are, around about, they vary between 400 and 700 to buy. So I couldn't find one, but I'd like to do a video just to, I see a lot of posts on Facebook and YouTube. There's another one gone. And people say, can I make it go faster? Can I go faster? What if I put a bigger controller? Look at that. That was just completely snapped. Old, that's what that is. Old plastic. I bought 1,000 of them. I'll probably get about 200 out of them. At the rate these are breaking. Yeah, there's another one. God damn it. Buy cheap, buy twice, if not 3 times. Oh, no, another one. I'm going to give up on this. If it doesn't go this time, it's just having, yep, that's it. It's having to move that down so it keeps that wire out of the way. Bane of my life, these things. 3, 4, 5, no good, 2 good. Yeah, anyway, people ask if, oh, can I make it go faster? Can I put a different, bigger controller in it? You probably get some adverse effects if you do that, if you put a bigger controller in one of these. I've actually done it where you put a Victory 9.1 in there, and they're calibrated to when they brake. This is the biggest thing I've seen. I didn't feel like the speed went up any from 4 miles to 5 miles an hour. It's not really worth it, but I found the biggest fault when I did that was when you come to stop, it carries on going, then applies the brake, then goes backwards. So it kind of jerks like that when it brakes, and it's like not safe. No, so don't do that. First of all, these are mobility scooters to keep you safe, you know, to get you around. So, and even if I did get a programmer and program these, I was reading a thread on Facebook where somebody had contacted the manufacturer, and the manufacturer basically said, yeah, you can get it up to 100% of the program speed inside the controller. You're not going to get it to go faster than 100%. So I don't want to spend $600 just to show you 100%. I could do that on that one, on a Jazzy wheelchair, or even the Jazzy ZT. So if you want a faster scooter, buy a faster scooter. That's the simple fact of it. If you want to go above 15 miles an hour, then buy a moped and get a license and get it registered, and you can use it on the road. Don't try and do these things. You're wasting your money. So no, the controllers can't go any faster. And to buy a controller programmer for 600 bucks to try and find out and just to prove it to you is not worth it, when I can prove it on that one. You can slow them down, but you can't speed them up. I use that for mainly Jazzy ZT, ZT10 I can use it on. I think it's actually the DX I can use on the ZTs. 0 turns. But yeah, you're wasting your time. If you want a faster scooter, buy a faster scooter or buy a moped or a car. I don't understand why people want to go faster. Adrenaline, yes. So, okay, so that's on. I'm going to replace that now, which is your steering lock, which comprises of your steering lock, your spring, and your probably a 4mm Allen. My Allen wrenches. It's going to be missing sheet. Chuff. Is it on my left? Nope. Is it on my table? It's the problem when people come in and borrow your tools. Flipping heck. That's polite. There it is. So, going back to it. So you've got your lock knob, your 4mm Allen. Get that loaded up ready. Okay, so spring goes in first. So with the scooter facing that way, it goes in with a little notch at the top. Notch at the top so you can get access to the Allen. So it goes in with a notch at the top. Get your wheel straight. Come on. There it is. Okay, press it down. Hello.
Cut this bit out, but when Jerry comes in, I want you to get him on camera because I want him to come in here to thank you. And I want to get it good on camera.
Okay, I'll just leave it running.
Yeah, just a heads up.
Yep, so press it in. I got distracted by the lady. Press it in so it locks the tiller and then you can tighten this up. Now don't tighten it up all the way. Just so it's just snug. Because if you tighten it up all the way it gets stiff and it won't unlock, it won't spring back. So it's just there to keep it located. So it should be nice and easy to press and turn. Okay, so that's that done. So don't forget your little notch at the top. So little notch at the top, so then you can press down and then put your Allen screw in there. Like I say, it should be nice and easy to turn, and that'll lock your tiller. Alright. That's not going anywhere. So next I'm going to install the front wheel. Now with wheels, I'm going to put the bit off if I can find it. Loctite. Because it's a nylon bushed washer. I always think if they take it off once it's done. I may be wrong, but just for safety, I'll put a bit of Loctite on there. And then to replace your front wheel, this is the way I do it. You've got two little collars. Dropped it. Two little spacer collars there. You can see them. So bolt goes in first that way. Put your spacer on. Feed it through a little bit. I didn't do this. Got water on it, so I installed my WD-40. Just to displace some water for me. Just in case there's any water in there. It'll just displace it. Get rid of that. Okay. Doesn't matter which way around your wheel goes, there's no tread pattern or no drive arrows like a car or anything like that. But yeah, put your bolt in and your spacer, and then put it through. Now you may have to coax, because inside the wheel is like a spacer as well. I'll show you what that looks like. Come here. It's one of those in between each of the bearings in the middle of the wheel. It's just like a spacer, and that rattles up and down sometimes. So what I do, put my Allen wrench in there just to align it, give it a wiggle until the bolt goes through, and get your other spacer with the wheel at an angle like that, and you can keep threading the bolt through the spacer and then through the rest of the forks. There should be a washer there, which has gone missing. Just find a replacement. Yep, just a little washer there, and then your nylon bolt there, 13 mil. Of course, John's been in my tools. 13 mil. And God damn it. Use a monster on it. God damn it, where's that going? Oh, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, don't tighten these up too much. I'll pick on 12. Okay, 13 mil. Nip it up, spin it. Should still spin freely. Just like that. Okay. Put tools back. I've got to find that. Yep, so that's your front wheel spinning. Next, oh, found my brush. Yay. Now it's floor shroud. Always put your floor shroud on before your seat post. That way it doesn't interfere with the floor shroud. There we go. Screwdriver. So, 2 screws at the top of the footboard. One there. One there. Flip it back down, and then 2 at the back. Oh yeah. One there. Oh, one there. So we've got our new connector block in there. We've got our new seat post pin. Let's see. I would want it there. I always set these at the highest because you can always come down, but you can't go up. That's that. I haven't got a seat for it yet, so I am not going to put batteries in it until I find a seat. Now the rear section we've already done, aligned it, so it should come together easy. Put those over there. Put that way so I don't lose it. So I've just got to hunt a seat out. I don't think I've got one. I've done so many rebuilds and refurbished scooters over the last couple of months. I've run out of stuff. So, still got some scrapes down the side. Like I said, it's never going to be the prettiest barrel at the ball. You dance with what you brung. Some good sayings over here. But let's put my tester battery on it, because the main thing was that transaxle that I rebuilt. I put that to new spacer in it. This will be the test to see if it's fixed it or not. I'm not holding up too much hope for it. You can do it, you can rebuild those things, but you've got to be getting it right. You've got to find the right spacer. I've done it where I've taken transaxles apart about 3 or 4 times, putting different washers in them, and they're still clunk or they bind up. So best thing to do, if you rely on it, don't mess with it, but it can be done. So see what this old girl does. The old lady bought me some new shoes yesterday. Oh, I'm on my jack. I still haven't brought it. John borrowed my 3-ton jack to sort his generator out on his camper van. Okay, so moment, I want to straighten that bracket out. Oh, I need the basket or a pair of pliers. The channel locks. There it is. Yeah. All right, moment of truth. Ah, got 5 beep codes. Okay. All right, so let's investigate that. So we have a 5 beep code. Here's another video. Right, let's set you up so you can see. Well, this is just perfect. So the sound went out on the video, so I'm having to do a voiceover of what's happening here. So just cleaning up, tidying up, so you can see what I'm going to do to find out why we've got a 5 beep break error. The first thing you need to do is get a multimeter and move that out of the way so you can see what's going on and where I'm testing and what I'm actually looking for. So basically what I'm going to do here is leave everything in situ. You can still test your brake with the wheels on, the shroud on, everything in situ just by using a multimeter. You've got to get one of these multimeters that can read ohm reading as well as voltage, but set it to ohm reading. That's that symbol there. And if you set it to just beep, it just gets annoying. So just set it to ohm reading and put your testers on the top 2 pins as if the wheels are on the floor. That's the 2 pins I'm pointing to there. Not the bottom 2. The bottom 2 are your motor positive and negative. Doesn't matter which way round. So it's reading 0L or OL. That's open, because I'm not testing anything. And then put 1 pin and the second pin, doesn't matter which way, positive or negative. And you should, if your brake is in the engaged position or brake or locked position, it should give you a reading of between 54 and 59 ohms, and that shows you've got a good brake. If it doesn't, you've got an open circuit, which means either the brake is bad or the micro switch is bad. So what I've done there is just taken the wheel off. Remember the little keyway that will fall out, just keep that safe. And that way you can see the brake. And that thing there by my thumb is the micro switch. And basically what I'm doing there is just taking off the heat shrink just to inspect to see if there's any loose cables or rot or anything like that that's caused by moisture. So now what I'm going to do is set my multimeter to the audible beep when you have continuity. I put one on one wire and one on the other wire. And with the brake engaged, test to see if we've got continuity, and the multimeter will give a beep if we do. If you're unsure, put the brake into freewheel and do the test again. Depending on how your micro switch is wired up or how the controller reads it, but I think it should be when the brake is in the engaged position that activates the micro switch to make a circuit, which should then give you continuity. So if you're getting no continuity at the micro switch in either positions, that should tell you your micro switch is bad. You should get continuity in one of the positions. It should be in the drive locked position on the pride. Now this test you can perform on most scooters, depending, as long as they come apart. This one is off a Golden Companion, and what you would do is test your brake wires on this connector. This is found on the the rear of the scooter. And you've got two wires there going to the brake, the orange and the blue wire. And you would perform the same test basically on that connector to see if you have first ohm reading 54 to 59, and then you could test your micro switch if you're getting no ohm reading there. Basically the same setup, just a different design. You'll have two motor wires, your positive, negative, and then your two brake wires going to the one going to the brake, one to the micro switch. And the micro switch basically is just breaking the circuit, telling the controller that the freewheel lever is in the freewheel position. So you could do that on most scooters, where you could test the brake through the connector block. If your scooter doesn't have a connector block like that, or like the one on the Pride, then you would have to test the brake at the brake connector. So what we've got to do is remove the micro switch, put a new micro switch on it, instead of having to replace the whole brake. So what I'm going to do is hunt out a working micro switch from another brake, and while the brake is still in situ, you don't have to remove the brake to remove this micro switch. Just going to desolder or desolder the wires off of the micro switch. Remove the micro switch off the brake, just held in with 2 screws at the top there. And just replace it with your new micro switch. I'm sure you can get those micro switches online. I'm sure you can buy them from eBay or somewhere like that, just to replace them. But I've got plenty of them that I can just replace. So just take those 2 screws off, replace it with your new micro switch, and resolder your wires back onto, just remembering which way to go around on this version of this brake. Yellow wire goes to the right, black wire goes to the brake, which is also on the left hand side. So with that installed and put back on, we can now test the micro switch. Just make sure we've got continuity in the lock position. And once we know we've got that, we should be able to get a reading from the 2 pins of the connector block that should be between 54 and 60, or 59 point something or other normally. And that tells you your brake is working correctly and the micro switch isn't broken. And another way of testing it is just put the rear section back onto the scooter, turn it on, see if it's cleared the 5 beep error. If it hasn't, then you've still got a problem with either a broken wire or you have to replace the brake. But if your brake is reading 59, it should be good. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's turn the scooter on. Yep, no beep code. Move forward and move backwards. Perfect. So that's that done. It was the micro switch. So I will put a seat on it and I'll go out and test it and make sure the transaxle's good. Okay, so I borrowed a seat off another scooter. I'm just going to test this, go around the shop a couple of times and make sure it doesn't make any noise. And as you can see, it's working perfectly. And trust me, there is no noise from the back axle, just normal drive sounds. Didn't want to put my dirty feet on there. But yeah, going around this direction, there's no clunking, ticking or crunching noises coming from the transaxle, but I always go around the other way just in case. So I'm making a left turn and no noises again. So that transaxle's in great condition now. So I'll park it up and wait for the panels to get done and finish it up. So that'll be another video, just a finishing video of the final thing when I find a seat for it. Okay, so it turned out to be the micro switch, so I swapped that over, chucked it in there now. But yeah, it turned out to be a micro switch, so everything's fine on the scooter now. It runs and the transaxle's perfect, good working order. I took it for a spin around the showroom, so yeah, all good. So hope you enjoyed this long and nice video. I've got one more to do. I'm going to put all the panels on, put the batteries in, and then find a seat for it. So stay tuned for that one. So till next time, bye now.